Let me just kind of show you around here, this little area that I'm going to cut here before we head to the back 80. This is ironweed. It's just about as tall as me, so probably about almost 6 foot. There's definitely stuff over here that's taller. Hey there, welcome back. So I'm out here with the Solis S75. You can see we got a brand new grapple put on there. Solis was here last week and put the third function on for me. Something I didn't have time to do, and it was sitting around, so had them come on out and do it. But today's video is going to be focused, let's see, I can't get to it here. Back here, back there. Can't get to it. That is a Woods Batwing 15-footer. We're going to go back there and take a look at it. But so this is that field that I like to bring my sawmill down to because it's really the only flat area. We're going to knock it down. I don't know how well I'm going to get this 15-footer through here, but we're going to do our best. Let's walk back here, take a quick look at this. This is an old one, and my neighbor is kind enough to let me use this. So this is a 15-footer. It come off his Ford tractor, so he's got some little setup there with some of the hydraulics because they didn't have, I don't know why they set it up that way. But anyway, it took us a while to figure it out. And we had to put them on 2 separate remotes. One does one side and the wheels when you turn that valve, and the other does the other side. And we've got a piston back here that's not holding pressure. So I'm going to go pull the pins and lower this down. There's that one slowly letting down. The other one's staying up. So we'll get them adjusted down. All right, here we go. Well, this is about the moment that I realized that 15-foot batwing and all of these logs that I have staged up here for the sawmill don't go well together, so I'm going to have to back my way out of here. Not to mention, trying to drive under this tree with a cab isn't making a whole lot of sense either. Well, once I get this thing mowed down, I'm going to be spending some time in here with this new grapple and getting this place cleaned up. So there are things all on the bank, logs, things that I've pushed off to the side that now I can pick up and centralize them somewhere, get them out of the way, and make it a little bit easier for me to mow when I've got a large mower in here. Know what you're mowing into here. And it sure is nice looking back there and seeing the 15-foot swath that's cut out. But one thing I've found is that that's the only time you get that is when you're cutting through the first time, because it's hard to gauge how much space you need to overlap. And it's about probably 3 feet on each side of the tractor to take that full width. But if you miss it, then you're going back and you're mowing a 1 foot strip or something with a 15-foot wide batwing. So definitely a learning curve here. Right there off the front of the tractor is a huge pile of slabs or cutoffs from the sawmill. So I just recalled that before I drove in there with this Batwing, so I had to back it out. So it didn't take long to knock out that little field there. So we're heading down a path now here. This is our main access point to the back of the property. And so this is generally how we get to the back 80, but before we get to the back 80, we'll be pulling up onto the top of the hill here in a few, which is where we do a lot of our sled riding and stuff like that. It's still on the original 70 acres that I purchased before we get into the strip mine. So this is a pretty steep terrain in through here. We've done a number of things to try to improve it so far. So as you can see, the terrain here gets pretty narrow, and I'm going to have to put the mower up here, which is the nice thing about the Batwing. I can fold things up here and get up this path, but with one of the sides of the Batwing, it wants to keep lowering down. We need to get that hydraulic fixed, but it's a little worrisome in here. I need to make sure that it doesn't drop down and get caught on any trees as we're moving through. So we've had to do a lot of maintenance to this area. We've put in 2 culverts. I'm passing over one here right about now. And that is just to keep the muddy washout on there. And those 3 trees that you see ahead there, that's a big sycamore that's right at the creek edge. And Jason and I put a big 30-inch culvert in that we're about to drive over here in just 1 second. We did a little bit of a redneck head wall there. I don't know if we'll be able to see it here to the left or not. But that has held up really well, and we haven't had any issues with washout or anything. So I would deem it a successful project. But as we continue down this path here, we are starting to head up a pretty steep incline here. And as I mentioned, narrow, so I'm trying to keep these Batwing arms from dropping down, specifically the one on the left, which would be running into that tree right there that we just passed. And oftentimes I have to stop and pause on this hill to switch gears, because I haven't quite figured out exactly what it takes to maintain momentum up through here. So you can see we just did that. And we're about to the top of the hill. This gets pretty precarious in the winter, especially on a tractor, and pretty easy to navigate on the side-by-side. But we're coming up to the backside of the 70 here, where I've done a lot of tree planting. We've put in some clover fields on occasion, But right now, we just need to knock it down because I have a tremendous amount of an invasive species back here called Solis S75, which Jason and I have inadvertently transferred to this pasture from the back strip mine where it was planted intentionally back in the day. And it's starting to spread everywhere, and it seeds so heavily we just need to get it mowed down before it goes to seed. Take it straight up this hill. All right, so we're gonna take this straight up this hill and see how the tractor performs pulling this 15-foot Batwing. The grade doesn't look as bad as it is. It's pretty bad. So as we're going up through here, to my left, these first two tree tubes are going to be mulberry that I planted I think last year, and then I've got some Hanson cherries on the right here, some native plums on the left. I'm not sure that we're going to get to see them all. Those trees that are sticking out of the tubes as we start coming up further up the hill here are going to be apple trees. So I have a variety of apple trees. But if you notice there on the left side, there was some autumn olive. That's that silvery leafed tree or shrub that's driving me crazy. It's all over the strip mine. It's all over the woods edges. I've spent hours and hours and hours in backpack sprayers spraying and killing that stuff as part of some equipped programs where I get reimbursement. But right now, that tall stuff that we just mowed over there is that Solis, and it's just covered in seed pods. So I'll try to point it out here as we're going through. We're about to reach the top of the hill, and this is probably one of my favorite spots on the property, where we've got a great view. One, it's a great place to sled ride. Right there, I'm going over some Solis. That stuff right there is Solis. So tired of seeing it on this part of the property. We're going to try some pasture guard next year, probably around the June time frame, that we can hopefully kill it off. You can see it there to the left of the tractor as well. That spindly looking stuff right there is more of it. So great place. We sit at the top of this hill, we sled off of it, we can sit here and look across the whole back 80. In fact, Jason and I used to sit there and talk about what if we could purchase and own that property behind us, which a few years later we did. So we picked up those 80 acres of former strip mine, taking our collective property to 175 acres. So my wife and I bought the first 70, then we bought the 80 together. And then we have since purchased another, or he purchased his cabin across the road with another 22, 25 acres, something like that. So if I stayed on this path going down into the woods here, which I'm going to turn away from here in just a second, but if I stayed down that path, we would be heading straight down to the backside of my pond. So it is an area that I used to keep mowed real nice, and we could get down in through there, but we've got some work to do. So I'm going to turn this tractor around, head on down the hill, and now we're passing a whole bunch of persimmon that I have planted, more native plum, persimmon, some pecan, and yeah, up there behind me too is another path that we can get down from the front side of the property. We've just got a lot of water runoff issues that create erosion issues. So we try to use the path that I just brought you up through as much as possible. So generally I do all of the mowing on this hill either with the Solis H24 or the John Deere 2032R, which is pulling a 5-foot county line light duty rotary cutter. So you can imagine that leveraging the 15-foot Batwing is a huge help, and I can attest that I was able to cut the time that it takes me to mow this property down to a third of the time. So, which makes sense. 3 times 5 is 15. So provided I'm overlapping correctly, it should be a lot quicker. And with the 75 horse, it just mowed through everything without pretty much any issue the entire time. So very happy with the performance. So much so that I decided to keep on mowing into the evening, actually into the dark. I continued to mow back here on the back 80. So this is on the other side of that field. A lot of tall grasses, and that brown stuff you see at the top left there, that is switchgrass, something that Jason planted. So there's just a whole bunch of different types of grasses out here. That hill straight ahead there, that is the hill that I was just mowing. And we'll see it again here, I think, in the next kind of still shot. So that's Jason's hunting blind on the back. Not quite the back 80. We got quite a few acres behind that. That brown, those are travel corridors of switchgrass. And then we're pointing back now to the north, and that backside hill is where I was mowing. Thanks for hanging out, and have a great day. We'll see you next time.